When Bethany Wilson joined the Beyond Birth program in 2016, she'd been active in addiction or inactive addiction for 5 years. She's endured endocarditis, a valve replacement, organ failure, reinfection, and being told there was nothing more doctors could do to save her life. Today, she is the mother of 6 healthy children, a newlywed, a certified peer support specialist, and she advocates for those with substance use disorders. With 34 months of recovery under her belt, Bethany uses her voice to let others know there is hope in the darkness. There's a life beyond addiction. Please join me in a warm welcome for Bethany Wilson.
I would like to thank everyone for being here today and supporting the University of Kentucky Pathways and Beyond Birth programs. I would like to say a special thank you to those who have been a part of supporting and loving me, even when it has been tough. Thank you. Throughout this journey that has led me to where I am today. I grew up in a small town. My parents are still married. I didn't come from a broken home. We always had everything we needed in terms of food, shelter, love, and support. I graduated high school with good grades. I was a cheerleader. I had been employed basically since I was 14. I say all that to tell you that addiction does not discriminate. It affects all ages, race, genders, ethnicities, and economic backgrounds. By 23, I was a wife, a mom to 3 children. I had a career, but I was also experiencing an overwhelming and unusual amount of stress. It was a very emotional time in my life. I was dealing with undiagnosed and untreated postpartum depression, as well as anxiety. I was emotionally and physically exhausted and not taking care of myself properly. Those things in combination with previous exposure to medications due to health reasons, which made me aware of how certain medications could numb myself both physically and emotionally, all played a role in my decision to use. I lacked knowledge about drug use. I was unaware of the term withdrawal and what that meant. I, of course, did not know the devastation that this could cause. If I would have had this knowledge, I believe that I could have made a more informed decision even in the midst of my desperation. With that being said, desperate to feel anything but the pain I was feeling, I began to use. I would soon realize that I have a substance use disorder, and I was unable to stop using on my own. My substance use escalated very quickly. A couple months after my first use, I ended up at the hospital with an abscess in my right arm that required surgery. Over the next few years, I tried multiple times to get sober with no real long-term success. I had been in inpatient treatment, intensive outpatient treatment, jail. I suffered multiple consequences because of my continued use, such as divorce, loss of custody of my children, illnesses, but I still was struggling to be sober. In 2014, I ended up in the hospital and diagnosed with septicemia, endocarditis, triple pneumonia. I had suffered a stroke, liver and kidney failure, and congestive heart failure. After surviving what others thought to be not survivable, I still struggled to stay sober. I spent some time incarcerated and in treatment, but again, I still struggled. I became pregnant and went to see an OBGYN, and because of my substance use history, I was referred to Pathways. Little did I know that participating in this program would be the beginning to the rest of my life. I was required to go to group therapy, individual therapy, parenting classes, and attend regular doctor visits. I initially did not like having all these requirements. I know some of them can remember me being kind of angry. But I later would realize that the accountability and structure was exactly what I needed. I grew to love the group therapy settings and getting feedback from my peers. We were taught to take that back to our communities and to get involved in local support groups. After giving birth to a healthy son in June of 2016, the Beyond Birth program offered me the support I needed to complete a case plan with my children. I began to think about my future and what I wanted to do as a career. I expressed interest in getting my peer support certification. The program not only provided me with the paperwork needed to apply for the certification, but they attested to my progress in recovery for the application process. They helped provide me with a scholarship to cover costs of the training and supported me emotionally through that process. After completing my training and exam, I began searching for job positions. They were able to help provide insight on available job positions, and in February of this year, I began working as a peer support specialist. I am now working for a nonprofit organization. It's AIDS Volunteers Incorporated as an HIV prevention specialist. In April, I got married. I'm an active parent in all 6 of my kids' lives. I'm a productive member of society. I have been sober for 2 years and 10 months. I share my story for the family members and friends of loved ones with substance use disorder, for the person who is still suffering, and for those who are unable to share their own stories. I know many people who have success stories similar to mine, but unfortunately, due to stigma around substance use disorder, more specifically medication-assisted treatment, they do not feel comfortable sharing their experience. If it is not talked about, nothing will change. If something is not done, nothing will change. A famous quote, if you always do what you always did, then you'll always get what you always got. And this is so true. So thank you to this program for doing something different, for taking the information at hand, recognizing the problem, and working towards a possible solution for many to that problem. Thank you.